doing recording. Because a lot of people, welcome to our second week of Drop Weight Challenge. So, and I've just got everyone to share a win of one sort or another. So Victoria shared 3 kilo drop and willpower, and that's always a good thing. Michelle, 2 kilos in first week. Angela dropped 4.5 kilos,
Hi.
but 700 this AM. Lisa, less aches. That's always nice, isn't it? Shelley, eating less. Melissa dropped 5 kgs. I never use the lost word because use the lost word. We're always going to go looking for it. So just so that you realize why I do that terminology. Kelly, just reached 2 kilos lost. Well, congratulations, everyone. It's magic, isn't it, when we start the drops happening. So Cheryl, been in hospital 5 days. So starting again today, did manage to stay in Carnival. Well, blooming hell, that is amazing achievement, actually, a really amazing achievement that you managed to do that. Because let's face it, when you have that sort of stress happening, then it's easy to just go, oh, I'll eat whatever. But being as you were just so good, yeah, and yeah, the hospital staff, I'm sure they felt a bit challenged indeed. But we're there to challenge them, aren't we? Honestly.
And educate the world.
Yeah, definitely. So now, today, we're going to do things a little bit differently. As I shared in my post, we're going to do a little bit of frequency work. And then after the frequencies will be playing. I think, Sarah, is that the way we're going to do it? We're going to be playing specific frequencies for the whole time we're on this call. And if you feel that you want to continue, you'll continue with it for as long as you feel like. Is that right?
Until I get a paying customer who I need to do a new treatment.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
And
so,
I'll definitely try and keep it going overnight, because I think that's where often the most benefit is actually felt.
But the reason we're doing this is it's something we've just introduced to my Fast Track to Health program. And we just wanted you to get a little taster of what it feels like. So why are we doing it? So normally with clients, one-on-one clients, like Sarah just mentioned, if she's got a client that she works with one-on-one, what we do is we get you to do a voice recording, which is 15 seconds. And then we go in and we find the frequencies that are ideal to bring you back into balance. Now, we can do it as a group, and that's what we're going to do. So the voice recording will be of you as a group. And I know it might sound a bit woo-woo, but it's really not. And we did this for the first time with our Fast Track to Health a group we were trialing it with a couple of weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago? Time's flying.
It was last week.
Oh, was it last week?
Yeah.
And everyone felt it.
Yeah.
Who shared with us. I mean, I certainly did. I'd forgotten that we'd done that the night before. And in the morning, I felt hungover. And I'm going, why on earth am I feeling? And of course, I hadn't been drinking. I say, of course, well, I'm not a big drinker. But basically, and then I suddenly realized, oh, Sarah's been playing with the frequencies. And literally, it only lasted for about 15, 20 minutes after I got up. And then everything started to lighten up. And I felt really good the next day. So just so you know, not everyone felt that. Not everyone felt tired. Most of the group felt energized and felt really, really good. So we're going to do a group. It's like a group healing, so to speak. So what we're going to get you to do is we're going to get you to say the letters A-E-I-O-U. And then we're going to get you to say your name. And yes, please have your speakers on in the audio. And yes, it will all sound like a jumbled mess, but the machinery we have picks it up. And so just And then also, if there's time, and Sarah will tell us to stop, when we just say what you want to work on.
Just
So-
keep backing. Just go
keep yapping and yatting, because 15 seconds seems like a long time when you're doing it. And so basically what I'm going to say is A-E-I-O-U. My name is Karen Creighton, and I would really, really like to work on my skin today. And that's it. That's probably 15 seconds. So, but you can ask for anything. You can ask for emotional balance. You can ask for releasing stress. You can ask for anything. And so when we finish doing this, we're going to go into a little bit about why stress is so important. So, right, are we all ready?
I'm also going to take a photo.
Oh,
After
yes, that's
I've done the
right.
voice recording, I'll take a photo of our screen, so I've got you all there. So if you are able to put your camera on, that would be really neat. If not, your name's still there. Bex has just joined us, so we might just need to explain to Bex, we're all about to have a group biofeedback frequency session. So we're all going to say the words A-E-I-O-U and I am whatever your name is and what you'd like to work on. We'll explain the detail to you later, Bex. But
And Angela has just put what we're going to be saying in the chat. So if you don't remember, then it's in the chat under Angela.
And it's going to sound crazy, but it's great.
It really is. And so, okay.
So
are we ready?
I'm just going to turn up my speaker.
Does everyone unmute yourselves, please?
Everyone ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, go.
It's
Michelle.
My name is Shelley.
All
Emotional
the way on the information.
here to grow better.
Safe,
release
Amazing.
And being mindful
from my body and soul.
and being more mindful of other people's feelings.
Very
great.
How I
Appreciate it.
15 seconds finish.
Yeah, that sounded amazing. Like
It did.
that was just an unreal. Okay, I'm just going to do the voice harmonics. Just 1 moment. But that was just like wow. Rather than everyone trying to speak in unity, it was just that was epic. Okay, give me a second. Oh, actually, give me 15 seconds.
And even if you're watching the recording, you will get the benefit of these frequencies when you're watching the recording. So just so you know, it's all in the ether and it's intention, and it really is magic. So it'll be really interesting what comes up as a collective, Sarah, if you can share with us maybe at the end of the session, if anything comes and really jumps out at you. So Sarah's going to be with us, but she's going to be going through a process and finding out. So with this app that we have, we can sort of focus in on certain things. So for example, we can focus in on environmental toxicity. We can focus in, we can like go really broad. So we can go environmental, or we can do toxins, or we can focus in on the liver, or we can focus in on the hypothalamus, which I'm going to talk to you about today, or we can focus in on adrenals, or we can focus. So there is so much we can focus with this little gizmo gadget, and Sarah's just going to follow her intuition with this, because as I say, we could speak for hours on this gadget. So so Sarah, if we can get you to come back on when I've finished doing my blah blah and everyone's finished their questions and things, and just share anything you feel that's very relevant.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I can do that.
You happy with that?
Yep.
Okay.
So if you see me not participating, I'm just working on this.
So if you have any questions for me, or if you have anything that you're really, really needing to know, or if you have a blockage, if something's not working for you. So for example, if you're stuck. So if I can't remember who it was this morning, said they'd only dropped 300 grams in the whole time period. So if you're able to come on here, and we'll do a bit of hot seating if you would like. So, but first off, I wanted to share with you a little about operation in our body, and it's called the HPA axis. And you're going to go, you either know what I'm talking about, or you'll go, what on earth is she talking about? So I'm just going to share the screen. And so just bear with me while I find my notes. Sometimes it doesn't want to show up. Okay, so the HPA axis and how it affects us and how it actually, come on, behave. You're supposed to go on to that one. Hang on. Bear with me, folks. I'm just going to stop sharing because that one's not working. So it's not moving like it should. No, that's because I've got 2 up. That's right. Okay. Technology. Don't you just love it? Not. Right, that should be it. It should work. Okay. All right. Now, can you see that? Just thumbs up, someone, please. Thank you very much. Awesomely awesome. Now, let's see if it actually moves. Yes. Okay. So the HPA axis literally runs the show behind the scenes. And you really don't need a lab coat or a doctorate for this one. This is where science meets soul. And once you understand it, you will see why stress, weight, and your sense of calm are all part of the same story. I have been asked this week, well, I don't feel stressed, so why have I put on weight? And this is a little key. So this is a real key as to why we put on weight in the first place. And I really felt that it would be a good idea to just learn a little bit. This isn't going to be long. I'm just going to go briefly over it because some of my clients know I can talk about this for absolutely ever. So what is this mysterious HPA axis? So it stands for hypothalamic, pituitary, and adrenals. So basically, it's your body's internal walkie-talkie system between your brain and your adrenals. The little glands, in case you don't know, that sit on top of your kidneys are in charge of your body's stress response. So if you can think of it like this, your hypothalamus in the brain says, oh, we're under pressure. The pituitary gland relays the message to the adrenals, and the adrenals pump out cortisols, your main stress hormone. Great when you need to run from a tiger. Not that I've met many tigers of late, but not so great when the tiger is just an email from your boss or your teenager leaving dirty dishes in the sink again. So all of these things can cause a stress response. Now, stress isn't bad. We actually need it in small doses. It sharpens us, keeps us alert. And the problem comes when the stress never turns off. And this is what we call chronic stress response. So back in our caveman days with our ancestors, stress was short-lived. Sprint, survive, relax. These days, it's more like wake up to the alarm, check your phone, coffee spike, traffic, work pressure, family stuff. And then we wonder why we can't sleep. Basically, your poor adrenals never get to rest. So the HPA axis gets frazzled like an overused circuit board. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. It's the cortisol loop, where stress keeps firing, cortisol stays high, that triggers insulin. And together they say to your body, we're in danger. Store that fat. So even if you're eating perfectly, if your system feels unsafe, it won't release. It's trying to protect you. And to top it off, high cortisol makes you crave sugar and carbs. So you're in a loop of stress, eat, store, repeat. Anyone relate to that? I know I could in the old days. And so everyday stressors that overload the HPA axis, there's quite a few. So it's not just, of course, emotional stress. Food can stress your system too, especially if it's inflammatory food. So this is why we get you on the low inflammatory food list. So it's also blood sugar swings, poor sleep, toxins, even over exercising can keep the HPA axis in fight or flight. And there is also another sneaky one, and that is overthinking. The brain doesn't know the difference between real threats and even imagined ones. So when you're in a spiral of worry, your body still reacts as if you're being chased. So if you're anything like the majority of us who are always thinking ahead, you're always thinking, well, I've got this to do tomorrow, I've got this to do then, and I've got this, and I've got to do this, and what if? What if the money doesn't come in? What if? So basically, it's like your body isn't still reacting as if it is in its ancestral pathways of running from that predator. It's a really, really interesting one, isn't it? Because we in our modern world are always busy. And how often have you said, oh, I can't do that, I'm too busy. And I've got too tired. And so here are a few signs your HPA axis is out of balance and you need some TLC. Belly fat that won't budge. Salt and sugar cravings. Feeling wired but tired. Waking up at 3 a.m. Anxiety. Or that wonderful foggy-headed feeling like your brain's on low battery. If that sounds like you, or you prior to starting this program, just means that your system's been working overtime trying to protect you. So, how do we reset and support the HPA axis? How do we help the body feel safe again? So, it's pretty easy, really. It's what we've been doing. We eat foods that calm inflammation. That's your low inflammatory food list. Drink your water with salt sole. If you haven't done your salt sole, give yourself a real treat and do it. It doesn't take a long time. Just do it. Tablespoon at least a day. And if you feel like you need it, another tablespoon in the afternoon. So tablespoon in the morning. Try that for a few days. If you can't feel any of the effects, like if you've got slight constipation feelings, bloating, then have another one in the afternoon. You really can't overdose on this. And also magnesium gel, if you've got the magnesium of any type, it's transdermal, my gel, of course, I would always recommend. But basically magnesium on your skin is like a chill pill for your nervous system. And another one, we talked about a bit about this last week, is get outside. Take your shoes off and ground. Your body is electrical and the earth helps to recharge you. Things like humming, singing, or slow breathing tells your brain, I'm safe. Actually, so does whistling. You don't hear many people whistle nowadays, do you? We always used to hear people whistling when I was young. People were always whistling around, but that humming, whistling, singing are really beneficial to your vagus nerve, but also the HPA axis. Oh, and of course, sleep. That's when your hormones have a break. Don't shortchange them. So basically, it's really, really important. So we release weight when our bodies feel safe. Your body's not being stubborn when it's not releasing the weight you feel you should let go of. It's protecting you. It won't let go of weight when it thinks it's in danger. But when it feels safe, nourished, and calm, it's ready to release. This is why this program works. We're not forcing the body, we're inviting it. We're inviting it to let go of that unwanted body fat. And so safety equals flow. Flow equals fat release. Simple as that. It really is simple. We're really quite simple beings, but it's just having that understanding of why we're doing what we're doing. And that's why I thought I'd share with you today. So I thought we'd do a very quick frequency lift. So as Sarah's doing frequency work on us, why don't we give this a go too? After all, you can never have enough support. So I'd like to invite you to just close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And imagine a gentle current of golden light flowing from your brain down into your pituitary gland. In other words, straight through the head, all the way to your adrenals, connecting these 3 energy centers. As you breathe, picture this light balancing and calming your system. The message now is you're safe, you're supported, you can release. Now, keep that frequency calm, clear, connected. And do a few more nice deep breaths in. And down. Keeping that flow of beautiful golden light flowing through your brain into your adrenals and back up again, keeping that loop energized and flowing. Beautiful. That is your HPA axis, remembering how to rest and trust again. And you can do this at any time. So, to keep the HPA axis connected and out of stress, keep to your food list, stay hydrated, use your salt and salt on your food, of course, and magnesium. And most importantly, be kind to your body. There's nothing wrong with it. It's recalibrating. The calmer your system, the more your body says, yeah, I can let go now. And now, it's time to chat. I just want to see what questions we have in the chat. Okay. Now, here's some day-to-day questions. Right. Does it matter what time we eat our fruit? Yes. It has to be within your eating window. And so if you're eating between 11 a.m. and 8 p.m., have it within that. And I would always recommend, if you can, have it with your meals. So for example, use it as a dessert or as an entree. Now, if you get, especially during the first week or two, you find that you get that, I need to eat something around 4 o'clock, then definitely have one of your apples or have some jelly, whatever. But as long as you're eating within that time frame, and if you can, as I say, try and keep your eating within 2 eating blocks, then that's ideal. And what quantity of gelatin gummies should we have per day? Now, it's really unlimited. So I recommend 2 dessert spoons of gelatin per day. And so that can make quite a lot of jellies and gummies. And so use them. If we think of them as a supplement, because that's how I look at gelatin, it's a supplement. It's basically collagen, and it's low inflammatory amino acids. So that means if you do have some proteins which can be higher in the slightly inflammatory amino acids, so for example, like pork, not that it's on the list, but basically it can reduce the levels of inflammatory amino acids, and so it becomes balanced. So it's a really, really beneficial thing to take on board, which is why I recommend it. And so where can you buy some great gelatin from? Well, that's a really good question, Julie. Now, there was a time when we could get Great Lakes beef bone gelatin from nearly every health shop. Health Post did it, but they've been out of stock for a long time. So I get mine from iHerb, and I will see if I can find it while we're talking, and share a link with you for it. And so if anyone wants to unmute themselves while I'm searching for this and ask a question, then please do.
I put that earlier. I went and looked up what you recommended last week and put it in the chat.
Oh,
For
cool.
the gelatin.
Yeah, the Zint ones, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Put that into. So, and it's actually really good. I find it doesn't clump as much as the others, and I just put when I don't bother to make gummies, I just put a dessert spoon of gelatin in hot water and lemon, and it makes a really nice drink. So Kelly, I'm not sure if I understand your question. So it's 2 dessert spoons of gelatin in its concentrated form. So the powder. I think that's what you meant. Is that what you meant, Kelly? Cool. Yeah. So, Sarah, I found fruit better with the earlier meal versus too close for bedtime. Yeah, some people do that. So everyone's uniquely different. Victoria, are weight fluctuations normal? Normal on this program or normal generally? So our weight fluctuations are relatively normal, depends on what you're eating. Now, what we should do is don't like shoulds, but general rule is your weight, if you have weight to remove, should be gradually going down. If you find that your weight spikes, so 600 grams or more, then something you ate the previous day or something you did the previous day could be causing an inflammatory process. So it's not always food, but we always look at food to check, because often if, for example, you've done a heavy workout the day before, or if you've done something slightly out of the ordinary, so like been digging a garden, or if you've had a highly stressful day the day previous, because that can actually, believe it or not, stress can cause inflammatory processes. So you just have to look at it, and that's what I always say to clients is basically, what happened the day before? Did you drink enough water? Are your bowels moving? Are you feeling happy? Did you have a stressful time? Did the car not go? There's always something. There's always a reason behind it. A lot of the time, it is food, though, as a general rule. So
I personally have found anytime I do physical activity, especially in the garden, I always gain. Even weeding, because it's my arm, I've got a bit of a funny arm situation, the inflammation, the pain, always. And I dug up our garden, ironically, on Saturday, and I went up 600, and I ate perfectly and in a very small window. So also one of the other questions earlier, and I thought you might want to elaborate on this, Karen, about stress, and if you're feeling pretty good, what would explain it? But stress doesn't have to be negative. You
No.
know, being completely amazingly in love for the first time in 20 years can cause a stress, because it's a stress. It's different. You know, it's a movement from the plateau.
Yeah. So that's Shelley. How stressed do you have to be then to end up retaining fat? The stress levels are normally long-term stress. So it's long-term stress that normally causes us to start gaining fat. Shorter-term stress, we have inflammation going on. But if you've got long-term stress, and as we've said, you know, long-term stress can be in so many guises. It can be the emotional stress of partners and work and all those sorts of things, but there's the underlying stress that can be, you could have a low-grade bacterial infection, you can have fungal infections, you can have parasites, you can have chemicals and heavy metal toxicity, which causes long-term stress. And so that's why we have these meetings, so that we can go over and go, right, okay, this is what's been going on with me. And so, like Victoria, I'm a lot more fatigued. Is this normal? It's normal for the first week or so. But normally, once you get into ketosis on an ongoing, you don't feel that fatigue, unless you might have more need for more protein, for example, or you might have need for more fat, but we'll gradually find that out. It's actually we're just sort of starting at grassroots level here with the program. And then we start individually finding out what's our ideal way of being, because there's not one size fits all. You know, it's like saying that everyone should be carnivore and have this much fat and have this much protein and have these supplements. If we weren't such unique little snowflakes, then we wouldn't have this sort of like dichotomy of what's going on with me. So this is what the whole process is about, is discovering you discovering what's really right for you. So with my sort of earlier Fast Track to Health program, I used to get everyone onto what you're doing now for 40 days. And if you'd dropped the weight that you wanted to drop in those 40 days, you went into phase 2, which is what we call the discovery phase, when you start introducing one new food a day, using the bathroom scales to check to see if that food caused an inflammatory process or not. Nowadays, because of what's been going on in the world, we've included 6 weeks before you go to the discovery. We've got 6 weeks of detoxification phase, where we focus on getting rid of heavy metals and chemicals and parasites and those sorts of things. So basically, just that you know, that's what we do. So the thing is that this is sort of like a taster of what potentiality you can reach. And my aim for you is to learn as much as you possibly can over our time together, and so that you can really enjoy the energy that you will be having. So if you're really, really tired, and don't go and do any more exercise. Don't force yourself up. Don't force yourself to go and do a workout. If you're really, really tired and you feel like you want to move your body, do some stretches, do some qigong or any of those sorts of things. Go for a walk, but don't force yourself to go hard, because you're just pushing yourself into more stress. And this is why I say to everyone, do not start a new exercise regime when you're on this process, because otherwise you're just causing another layer of stress and it won't work. Does that all make sense? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, the recipe for the gelatin is in the jellies is in the group. And Angela, the only thing I added during the weekend was an apple on Sunday and another one yesterday. prior dropping between 100 and 14. So did you stop dropping weight then, Angela, with the apples?
I've got my little daily drop list. Between Sunday and Monday, I dropped 300 grams. And then I was thinking, oh, cool, I'll be down below what I wanted. And then today it was up 700.
Wow. Okay.
And then the rest of the weekend was it was really relaxing. And yesterday I just spent the day with friends and long life friends, and we sat out in the sunshine. We had morning tea. They had birthday cake and other stuff. I refrained and explained to them that I'm on a weight loss mode, and they were no problem. And then got to lunch. So we had lunch. I made an omelette for myself and a girlfriend, and the boys had pizza. Had casserole for dinner. I had a apple in the afternoon, and yeah, jumped on the scales this morning, and it's bloating as well. And I haven't had bloating for weeks now.
Okay. So just were the apples organic?
They weren't, no.
Okay. So the reason I asked that is because many, many years ago, when I ran the clinic in Kerikeri, so we're talking 14 years ago, 13, 14 years, I used to have an apple sort of just before finishing work. So I used to have it just about 6 o'clock. And then I noticed that I started getting this real numbing feeling, and it was like lockjaw. It's like I couldn't move my jaw, and I couldn't work it out until I realized that it was every time I had an apple. And then I tried organic apples, and I was absolutely fine. So there's something on those apples, because you know, our food is so, and like Sarah's just put here, it could even be what the apples are sprayed with. So it really can be. And so it might be worth, I don't know if you clean the apples with apple cider vinegar, so it might be worth doing that, you know, because it really does make a big difference. The quality of what we're putting in our mouths makes such a big difference.
I think I'll be staying away from apples since I went very low carb in 2018. These are the only second and third apples I've had since. And you know what? Something was telling me not to eat them, but I still did. So I need to listen to my gut a lot more.
Yeah. It's the learning curve, isn't it? And that's the great thing, is that you know that weight will be gone in the next 2 days or so. So, you know, it's not a big deal, but it is part of a learning process.
So I don't think I'll be having apples again.
No. And then
we'll try when I'm down to goal weight and we reintroduce it, I will try, and I'll go and buy a couple of organic apples and give it a go.
Yeah.
And try it.
As Sarah also pointed out, it could have been just high emotions and happy stress, because happy stress can do it too, you know. But I have a feeling it's the apples.
I would be pretty much, I think it was probably the apples, but I did find them very sweet. And I measure my ketones. My ketone levels have been up around the 2.3, 2.4. So even last night when I measured them, they were sitting at 2.3, and that was a few hours after I had the apples. So it hadn't done anything to my insulin.
No.
It hadn't dropped it.
No.
Those.
So that's it's a good sign. So it means everything's working. It's just you've got a little bit of inflammation from something.
Yeah, absolutely. So another few days. But I'm almost down a dress size. I wore yesterday a pair of trousers that I could not fit. I couldn't even pull them up over my hips in mid-August. So that's really cool. It really
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool. Congrats.
So that's my non-scale victory.
That's brilliant. Okay.
Thanks, Karen, Sarah.
Michelle, your question, can we stew the apples with a pinch of cinnamon instead of fresh oil? Absolutely. So I would recommend, though, if you're going to stew your apples, make sure you stew them with the skin on. Clean the skin, though, but stew it with the skin on, because the most beneficial part of the apple is just underneath the skin, and that's the pectin. And that's the main reason why they're allowed on the list. It's the pectin from the apple that is hugely, hugely beneficial. So, but yes, definitely. You could use cooked apples with a pinch of cinnamon and make jellies from it. So, which would be quite nice if you like that. So I don't have them in recipes simply because I cannot stand cooked fruit. And I really, really, really cannot stand cooked apples. And being English, when it was like my mum used to make apple pie and stuff all the time. And yeah, so I've got a bit of a story about apple pie. When I was so my first day at school in the UK, and I know some of you are from the UK here, we had school dinners. And I went to school dinner, my first school dinner, right? And I ate my dinner, and then the dessert came along. It was apple pie and custard. Now, there's another thing that I find even worse than cooked apples, and that's custard. So the teacher who was sitting next to me made me eat this apple pie and custard. Now, it's not very nice, but unfortunately, my body obviously had a reaction to it and I vomited all over. And hopefully that taught her a lesson not to force someone to eat something if they don't like it. But anyway, so that's my experience with cooked apples. I've avoided it most of my life. So yes. So right. Okay. Any more questions? Now, if you are on the drops and your weight is not moving, there was a lovely lady who shared with me earlier, and she's not on here, and it's not moving, there will be a reason. And like we said, it could be ongoing stress. So although you might not be feeling stress, you might not be feeling, oh my God, the world's coming to an end or anything like that. But you might have quite a few things going on in your life. That's ongoing stress. If you have ongoing stress, it's quite hard for your body to let go of that unwanted weight. So be kind to yourself. Do as much as you possibly can. Like I pointed out, is do some grounding. Make sure you make a concerted effort to go and put your feet in the grass, or if you're lucky enough to live by the beach like we are, go and put your feet in the sea. Go make it a part of your regime. Then deep breathing. The thing is if you are one of these people where the weight literally hasn't moved, then you need to take more time to calm the farm, to calm everything down. Because your central nervous system will be running on overdrive. I bet, as an iridologist, I bet if I was sitting next to someone who was struggling with their weight not going down, it's the only thing as an iridologist we can diagnose, and that is adrenal stress, because it shows us, mainly because just on the outside of the pupil, that's the only place in the body you can see the central nervous system. And if you can get a mirror or actually your phone, and you can take a video of your eye, if you're under adrenal stress, what happens is you put a light into your iris, the pupil will sort of contract and dilate. And then after a while, the body gets used to it and it'll just settle. With someone with adrenal stress, it keeps pulsing. And that is because the central nervous system is under so much duress that it can't cope with everything. It's just showing us. It's amazing. Our body is amazing. It just shows us everything. The reason, if we're doing everything right, as in with this process, then we know there's an underlying something else. And as I've said, it could be parasites, but generally with this group, I would suggest it'll be stress levels. And let's face it, our modern world, 5G, our modern world we're bombarded with stressors. And I just think it's blooming amazing that we're still living, that we're still able to thrive in this modern day, because we're bombarded with chemicals, with heavy metals, with 5G, 4G. You know, we've got this EMF soup that we're bombarded with. And isn't it phenomenal that we're actually operating as well as we are? And I think we have to really, really pat ourselves on the back and really love our bodies and say, wow, aren't we blooming amazing? We might be carrying a little bit of extra weight, but if you give it love and if you give it time and space, then the body will release it. And I think that's a really important component of this, and it's self-love. Looking in the mirror and going, oh my God, you're gorgeous. Looking in the camera and seeing your face. Oh my God, I'm gorgeous. I would like you to say that out loud, please. Oh my God, I'm gorgeous. Oh my God, I'm gorgeous. Because the more we say that to ourselves, the more the hypothalamus, the pineal, the pituitary, the adrenals will hear it. Oh my God, I'm gorgeous and I'm safe. Oh my God, I am just amazing. This suit that I'm wearing has served me so well. You know, if you're walking down the road, feet, aren't you amazing? You're getting me from A to B and I don't even have to think about it. You know, and because we're always looking at how much we could improve. Oh no, you know, my nose is big, or I've got a red nose, or I've got a spot, or I've got, you know, we're always looking at that instead of going, wow, isn't it amazing I can see? Isn't it amazing I can hear all I hear? Isn't it amazing? So I'd like you to take this week and go and look at all the positive things about yourself. And really, really concentrate on that. Because I think if we can do that, magic happens. And the weight will drop off. Because you're loving yourself. And I know it's hard some days because you go, oh my God, I can't fit my skirt on. Or this dress, and you know. But it'll change. This too will pass, as they say. Yes, Cheryl. Do a lot of self-talk and engagement with my wonderful body. Absolutely. And now you're healing so rapidly, aren't you? And so, woohoo, isn't it fascinating how fast we heal, how little we have to do to heal. And we don't have to keep going looking for something that will heal us. We heal us. Saying that, Sarah, do you want to share anything right now? Anything that's come up on the Genius?
It's quite interesting actually. A lot of B vitamins, graphene oxide,
All right.
heavy metals,
Okay.
lots of heavy metals, and chakras collectively, nearly all of them needed realignment.
Ajuj.
Sorry.
Ajuj.
What? Oh, the other thing was cheese came up a bit. Sensitivities.
Okay, so who's eating cheese? Come on, admit.
So yeah, it just popped up quite often. But yeah, graphene and heavy metal.
Okay, so when you've got heavy metal and graphene, there's quite a few things you can do. So I think I don't remember if I mentioned this last week, but there's a detox food bath that's particularly really, really useful. And it is 2 parts bicarbonate of soda, 2 parts salt, like Himalayan, or Himalayan's probably the cheapest one to do, or good quality sea salt, and 1 part borax. and you do a foot bath. So if you do a foot bath, you need about 1 cup of the mix. If you do a full bath, you need at least 2 cups of the mix, and you stay in there as long as you possibly can in hot water as you can cope with. And before anyone asks, what about Epsom salts? No. Well, you can put Epsom salts in, but for the last 10 minutes that you're in the bath or foot bath, because after 10, it's actually 12 minutes, but I always say 10 minutes to give a bit of leeway, is after 12 minutes, reverse osmosis starts happening with Epsom salts and you start reabsorbing the toxicity. So best to put that in the last, you could use Celtic salt. Celtic salt tends to be quite expensive in comparison to sort of Himalayan salt. And I'll write it down, Cheryl, if anyone else wants to talk amongst themselves. Da-ba-da. Any questions while we're you can unmute yourself if you want to talk while I'm typing.
Camille's just
I'll
asked.
unmute. Yeah,
exactly.
I'll unmute. Hi.
Hello,
Hi,
lovely.
everyone. Hello. So is diatomaceous earth is also good for the heavy metals, is that right?
Yes, it can be. It's because of the silica. But it's these 3 work better. Diatomaceous earth is particularly good. Is a sort of main thing is for parasites, because it literally blows them apart. And then if you charcoal alongside with it, then that can gobble it all up. So basically, with parasite cleansing, I normally get, it's a sort of a few pronged approach. They use the herbs, the traditional herbs for killing off parasites, like wormwood, clove, and black walnut or green walnut. That's the traditional sort of like parasite cleanse. And then you can also take diatomaceous earth because it really helps to kill it. And then away from those 2 things is you take charcoal, because charcoal sort of grabs all the waste, because it's the waste products actually of parasites being killed off that that can cause people some problems, so skin problems or feeling nauseous or whatever. So it's
There's no point in keeping they stay stuck in your body.
yeah,
I do diatomaceous earth every morning with my soul, so and then I have
that's
some
cool.
soul in my water as well. So
Cool. That's great. So the thing is diatomaceous earth, as I said, it's very high in silica. So it's extremely good for connective tissue and hair, skin, and nails. So it's a double whammy. It's not just for parasites. It's hugely beneficial for humans and animals. So if you've got dogs or cats, it's a great thing to have for them instead of those horrible worming things that are actually very toxic. So but yes, you're right. Diatomaceous earth can be for heavy metals, but not specific. There's other things as well, things like yellow dock root and those sorts of things are really good for heavy metals, and nettles and things. But with herbal formulas, you have to make sure that they're grown organically, because herbs will so for example, like yellow dock and nettle, they will grab the metals and things from the ground first. So you can be getting the herbs that could have those metals in. So it's just a bit together. Yeah, mix them together. Cheryl, what I do is I make a big jar of it, and I just put the parts and I shake it all up and mix it all up, and then put that all in hot water and soak your feet 15, 25 minutes. Yeah. Would be very beneficial for you since you've been in hospital. Would be useful to get rid of any drugs or anything that you might have taken. And so it's hugely beneficial. It also feels really good. So And of course, with parasite cleansing, we always recommend doing frequency work like Sarah's doing with us, because the traditional formulas, as I said, the herbals and everything, they will get rid of the parasites in the gut, in the digestive tract, but they won't get the parasites that are in the tissue, in the spine, in the brain, which they love to go all around our bodies. And so the frequencies are what actually can really, really dislodge and displace and get rid of them. So, yeah. So we will be doing, I haven't decided yet, a parasite frequency challenge soon, maybe. So Sarah's just rolling her eyes because she hasn't heard that before.
Rolling. No, I'm not rolling. I'm just I'm getting a little bit of a strong message here that we all actually just need to protect ourselves a wee bit.
Yeah.
And to do that, the sunshine and the grounding is really important, because that will also raise your own personal frequency. And the higher your frequency, the less you're going to take on the shit that the rest of the world is doing.
Absolutely.
At the moment in this group, and with these results that are coming through, I'm feeling that there's quite a bit of fear.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of, you're holding on physically to your weight because that weight protects you. So there's quite a bit of fear. So
I think it's a collective fear that's been going on for the last few years anyway. And so
yeah, there's definitely a lot of that. And at the moment, as I'm telling you, I've got serious goosebumps. So I think it's definitely on spot that we're all trying to be everything to everyone and trying and worrying too much, and there's just too much fear out there. So take time, at least 20 minutes a day. Leave your phone and everything else electronic inside, in the car, somewhere else. Go and spend time outside. Just with yourself or with your pets or your plants or whatever makes you happy and lights you up. But that will lift your own frequency and help you not feel that fear so much. And then I think things will move a bit more.
Yeah, and
I'd love to add to what Sarah just said too, because there are times that you can't leave a situation. You're at work, you're stuck with customers completely all day, and breathing, taking that effort in yourself just to breathe through situations, because you can't leave and you can't have that grounding time for yourself. That really helps, just taking the time to breathe between customers or between the stress that's happening at the time as well.
I think also I agree with you 100%, Camille. I think also is we have to really learn to take a step back.
Yeah.
Really, become the observer. Where's that coming from?
Sounds like some happy children somewhere.
Yeah, it does.
Or a
doesn't it?
happy husband.
Yeah, it sounded really good. So it's actually taking a step back, isn't it? And basically becoming the observer. And unless it's your stuff, is you have to teach yourself not to take anyone else's on board, whether it's your family, whether it's your child, whether it's your husband, whether it's your whatever. You have to really start creating boundaries. And I know
and the cool thing with eating low inflammatory and with eating carnivore, you will get what I call the carnivore calm. So you will be able to cope better in those situations as well.
I agree 100%. Yeah. Food has a definite part to play in how we cope with our lives. And so so thank you for that, Camille. Julie, with wanding, would that get rid of parasites? Are you talking about the Terra wand? Is that what you're talking about, Julie?
Yes, I am. Kia ora, everyone. Yeah, I am Karen. Yeah, because
To be honest, I don't know. I haven't heard.
Yeah.
with the Terra Wand. I mean, I know how beneficial it is.
Cool.
But I don't know if it can do specific, because it hasn't got specific because it's specific frequencies that can actually eliminate certain parasites.
Okay.
So it would be a great adjunct to it, absolutely, because it's raising your frequency. So it's, you know, if we raise our frequencies, then these little microbes and parasites, call them that, but I see all pathogens as parasites because they're living off us. Anything we can do to raise our frequency up, the less likely they're going to thrive, because they like a negative environment. So, you know, basically the more we can lift ourselves up. So yes, Julie, I would say it could help you get rid of it. Take a bit longer than doing it with other things.
Tell me though, while I'm unmuted, okay, with parasites.
Yeah.
Now, everyone's unique.
Absolutely.
And okay, all right. Can you share some symptoms? You know, because I mean, I know when I have like worms, you know, the bottom and that. So, and I did take those worming tablets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So parasites, I mean, we're all full of them. Everyone's got them.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
you know,
Yeah.
there is many who theorize that all illness is caused by parasites.
Yes.
So symptoms, well, there's as many symptoms of parasites as there is illnesses, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, you know, the Hilda Clark wrote a book in the late 80s, early 90s about the cure for cancer, and she prophesied that all cancers were caused by parasites, and there's a lot of evidence to suggest that it is. So, and if you look at the symptomology of cancers, there's such a variety that I think most of us, we worm our dogs and cats, for example, every 6 months, and it used to be a tradition to worm children as well every 6 months or so, but we don't do it anymore. And that's why I think but we also have to make sure that everything's being eliminated well before we embark on a cleanse of parasites, because like I said, you know, you kill off parasites and your liver or your kidneys or your lymphatic system or your skin isn't eliminating well, then you can literally kill off parasites so quickly that your body can't cope with getting them out of your body quick enough. And so it's a really important component is supporting your detoxification pathways first before embarking on a parasite cleanse, I feel. So that's why we do certain things whenever I do a program, is we do certain things. And like, for example, I wouldn't get you guys, because we're in a short challenge, I wouldn't get you to do detoxification things. So does that make sense?
Yeah. Because
Thanks, Christelle.
yeah. No, just coming on tonight, you know, the weight gain. I was reflecting on, okay, this is what did I do? You know, I went for a walk, you know, and I think, and fine. Next day, my weight was up only by like when I weighed myself that morning. God, I'd lost about 600 grams overnight, you know, and that's been since I've got back on Thursday. I posted up on our page, you know, where I've been. And then I went for that walk, and it was great because I like, you know, I live not far from the ocean, and we have a boardwalk that we, you know, lots of us walk. And I'll tell you what, my weight went up another, how much? 500 grams. Yeah.
Okay.
But then I lost, you know, the next day, you know, like seems to be up and down. But I also heard what you said. I mean, I had a bit of a shit day. I've had a couple of rough days. So, you know, I can relate to that. You know, yep, you know, the old cortisol or whatever is
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. So it will be that. So it's more likely to be the stress levels than the
Yes.
walking, because unless you're doing hard out sort of power walking,
No.
it's unlikely to be muscle being built. So, and it's only one. It's sort of like, do you not walk generally, Julie? Do you
Yeah,
sort
I
of,
do. I walk at least 3 times a week, and I swim actually 3 times a week. I
so
do one day walk, one day swim, one day walk, one day swim.
I would suggest then it's probably stress levels. The other thing I would say, are you swimming in a swimming pool?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a public swimming pool, yeah.
So the chlorine levels could be affecting that too.
Ah. Oh, gee. Oh, I
And
mean, I love the ocean. It's a bit cold at the moment.
Yeah, no. The thing you can do, Julie, though, to stop you absorbing the chlorine is because this is what I had a young boy when I used to do allergy testing, and he had really bad skin, and he was totally allergic to chlorine. So what I got him to do was to put jojoba oil on before he went swimming, just about 20 minutes before he went swimming, and it acts as a barrier. So as long as he wasn't swallowing it, and he used to wear a nasal thing, so he wasn't taking it on board. But he covered himself in jojoba oil, and it really worked.
Okay,
So it's
so
definitely worth that.
absorption. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, I found though, oh no, I don't believe it's that. I believe it's my stress level.
Mm.
You know, it's my stress level. I don't, because I like to exercise. I always have, and I get a bit worried when I'm not doing anything. Oh,
The thing is it can be multi-layered.
yeah.
So if you've been going in a swimming pool for many years, for example, the chlorine can reach such a level that your body goes, ah, it sort of starts reacting.
Okay.
So I would definitely look at doing the detox foot bath I explained, and
Yes.
also getting some jojoba oil. Now I did
Yeah.
see somewhere, I think it was Honest Skincare, they were advertising organic jojoba oil at a really good price.
Okay. Thank you, Karen. Thank
Okay,
you.
Julie.
Right.
Yeah, it's really interesting because we don't take a lot of these things into account when we're looking at what we do. And so hopefully
we're
you've
also affected by the people around us.
we are, of course. Yeah. Yeah. And if we have sort of relationships that can be a little or a lot toxic, then that can affect us hugely too. Unresolved emotional trauma too. So much that we are affected by it, but there's a lot we can do to release it, and we'll talk about that another day. But yeah. So okay.
Sorry, Karen, I just wanted to quickly butt in there just a little bit, but I'm sure you have mentioned in some of these chats, because I haven't been able to come on, obviously, with every second Tuesday heading down to mum's to care for her. But I just wanted to sort of point this to Julie too, that there's so many layers of healing that go on. So it's not about, it's so hard to explain because I used to be a Weight Watchers leader for 7 years. So it was all about losing weight. It was losing weight. And it's actually not about losing weight on this way of living, this way of eating. It's about healing on a cellular level
Kia ora.
that just makes it so much different. So one day you actually will gain, but it's not about gaining weight. It's about your body's going, okay, I've got some healing to do. Let's just take a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
And
understand
gaining
all
knowledge,
that.
isn't it? It's about gaining knowledge of self, isn't it, Camille?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. It's like,
Yeah,
if we carry on doing the same old, and expecting a different outcome, it's a
yeah,
form of madness, isn't it, really? You
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And you'll learn your body's rhythm as well and how it
Yeah.
heals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and it's so good. It is good.
Well, Camille, ever since I've come on board, like with Karen, like Fast Track here, and I've definitely learned a whole lot about myself. For me, I see it as a wellness program,
Yeah.
there's like when
And it's the
you know,
whole thing.
yeah, a whole lot of things, and there's some stuff, I've got to let go. And when like I said, I had a couple of rough days, and sometimes I find it hard to let it go, and it affected me. It affected me. It affected me as
Yeah.
where I'm. But today I woke up, and I'm strongly believe in affirmations. I've always been an affirmation person, and
Yeah.
and I say an affirmation, as soon as I wake up, I'm grateful, but also like there's a way to a thing. And Sarah, I know what you're talking about, the goosebumps and all that. I was feeling that as well,
Yeah.
Māori, and
Brilliant.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I know all that stuff, and I feel it, but yeah, thank you for sharing that, Camille, just
That's all right.
thank you for that.
All the
Yeah.
best.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But I love where I'm at, hey, a weight loss is weight loss, or whatever I'm doing, getting there and to wellness and understanding me, my body, and what works for me, And
Yeah.
And
yeah,
like we know, is your body will not release weight
yeah,
if it doesn't perceive itself as safe, and if it isn't healing.
sure. Yeah,
So it's actually, if you're releasing unwanted weight, then you're on the right path. And if it doesn't release, there's something that's holding it up. That's all.
yeah. Cool.
And so on that note, I think we've gone through all the questions. Unless anyone has any more questions, I don't think I missed any. We will say au revoir and see you this time next week.
Kia
And
ora, Karen.
don't forget to comment in the group and everything. And because if there's a question in there, you can guarantee someone else is asking it too. All right. Bye.
Lovely to see
Bye-bye.
you all. See ya.